Anson Wong is a wildlife trafficker. He's also a guy who was trafficking at the time all the things we care about when we think about precious wildlife. He was offering snow leopard pelts, rhino horn, he's moving live elephants. He had a tiger farm in Vietnam where they raised tigers, killed them, mounted them as taxidermy specimens, sold them as trophies for people to put in their living rooms. He had the Spix's macaw. It's a bird that's supposed to be extinct in the wild. Anson was offering 3 for $100,000 apiece. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service considered him in the 90s the biggest international wildlife trafficker in the world. They launched an investigation called Operation Chameleon, and it was successful. When he got out of jail, he went immediately back to the reptile business. I also know from talking to reptile traders, he was never out of business. While he was in jail, his wife was trading for him. So we came up with another operation. We called it Operation Big Ego. So I learned his techniques, and then I went to Indonesia, where his major customers and competitors are. And I lived on a reptile breeding farm and met as many of his competitors and clients as possible. Then I flew to Malaysia. And I didn't know what Anson looked like. I said, I walked into the shop, 22B Jones Road, and I said, there are 2 Chinese guys standing in the doorway. They said, can we help you? I said, yeah, I'm looking for Anson Wong. And the same guy said, I'm Anson Wong. I said, oh, I'm Bryan Christy. He said, I've heard of you. I hear you're writing about Strictly Reptiles. What you should really be doing is writing about me. I'm much bigger. And that is when Operation Big Ego really took off. And he said, not only that, but look, and he slid a stack of blueprints across the desk to me. I said, what's this? He said, a tiger farm. I'm building a tiger park here on Penang Island, and the government is funding me. So this is the world's leading wildlife trafficker, arrested in the United States. He returns. His own government funds him to build a tiger park. This is a guy who was trafficking in tigers. I said, I have a story. The story was called The Kingpin. This story ran in Malaysia. Within weeks, law enforcement officials raided Anson's facilities. They stripped him of his business license, his license to move endangered species. Members of Parliament took that literal magazine and held it on the floor of Parliament and demanded change. Malaysian Parliament passed the first new reform legislation for wildlife in 40 years. That summer, Anson was arrested, and he was tried and convicted, sentenced to 6 months in prison. The public outcry over a 6-month prison was so great that the government effectively appealed its own victory, retried him, and he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, a massive penalty in any country in the world. The prosecutor and the judge held up this story and said, this is what we're doing.